Good afternoon. I will try to tell you something about circular economy, which is my main research topic. And within that topic, I'm dealing with waste management mainly. So it might be an interesting combination to hear some of my personal, not always VITO thoughts. I wanted to start, maybe not such a good idea on a Friday afternoon after lunch, but with some more philosophical thought, introducing you the framework that was designed by a Chilean economist in the 80s. And why did I put this slide, or why do I want to highlight this? It's because we always talk about material needs, as if materials are really needed, and if we don't have them, we cannot develop ourselves as human beings. And the framework proposed by this Chilean economist Manfred Max Neef, he says, no, there are fundamental human needs. Some of them are there: subsistence, identity, idleness, freedom, participation, understanding. These are the fundamental basic human needs. There's no hierarchy. If one of them lacks, I might want to kill myself because it's a human need which is not fulfilled. There's no hierarchy. It are few needs, it's not hundreds of needs, and they are finite. It's a number of needs. And also important, they are constant through cultures and historically across time. They don't change, they will always be the same. And then Manfred Max Neef, he proposes human wants. The wants are strategies to satisfy these fundamental needs, but it are wants, it are not needs. They are infinite, and they never can be satisfied. They differ from one time to another, and they differ between cultures. But the good thing there is that the human wants can be changed over time. So, and that's why it's possible to define policies regarding to resource management. That is why we can change habits. That is why and how we can change our material needs. So this is the linear economy where we used as a guidance principle until the late 90s of last century. We use the waste hierarchy. You all know it. I'm not going to go deeper in this. It's about waste management. Circular economy is not about waste management. Circular economy is about stock management, which is what comes before waste. The stock is what we already have. It's what we have in our houses, in our drawers, in infrastructure. And what is the aim of circular economy? It's keeping up the value over time. And this time is very relevant. We have here some very simplistic approaches. This is Ellen MacArthur. I'm not so fond of Ellen MacArthur. But this is, I think, quite a simplistic way. These circles, it's good for communication, it looks well. And we at VITO, we tried to build these circles also. And this costed 3 years of research. We tried to put on paper a Sankey diagram with wood and fiber in Flanders. So a Sankey, what could be more simple, we thought. So the stars are referring to waste inputs. And then a lot of things happen with these fibers and this wood. Paper is made from it, recycled. IKEA makes, not IKEA, but in Belgium it will be different, it's Unila. They will make boards from it. They will be recycled, there will be recycled content in it, and at the end most of the fibers are converted into heat or electricity. Now, I put here what's so different between a linear and a circular economy. It's completely different. It's very different. All other things, different things matter here. So if we want to measure the success rate of circular economy, it will be very hard to do with the parameters that we are monitoring and measuring at this moment. We are looking to the wrong things. We are monitoring the wrong parameters. Circular economy is not about materials. It's not even so much about alloys. It's about products. So we are moving from a material-centered linear economy to a product-centered circular economy. I see time is passing by. There's a paradox that I wanted to highlight also. I made this graph myself. Sorry for the quality of it, not professional, but I've been showing it for the last 6 years. And it shows green and red arrows. And the red arrows are the flows that we want to diminish in a circular economy. We don't want waste. We have waste prevention. We want resources from waste. We want the extraction of elements from nature. We want it lower. We want consumption to be lower. But at the same time, we want a higher production. We want to lower the extraction of resources from nature, but at the same time, we want more production. And this becomes very complex, and there's not like a circle with only red or only yellow arrows. There isn't. So that makes circular economy always a balancing act. If I take away the resources from, for instance, I take away coal power plants, so there will be no fly ash for cement industry, which were using this waste. Cement industry is telling us we have a problem there. Then, because the organizers asked me to provide a figure on how circular is the economy, I provided this figure. It's an EU figure. It says nothing. That's why I didn't want to bring it, but you asked me, so I did. Below, there's the recircling and the recycling. It's very small, but it doesn't tell me anything. It's for 1 year, so it is not like there's something flowing. It's a picture of one moment. There's no values, no euros. There's only kilos. I don't buy kilos of smartphones or kilos of house. So this measure, I didn't want to bring it, but now you see we are relatively doing well in making the cycle. This is mostly aggregates and cement recycling, between brackets. I wanted to share also our work on entropy, but not thermodynamics. It's about statistical entropy. We studied the European car system for the coming 30 years with a new method that we developed in VITO, statistical entropy analysis. So I provide the link here. And what we also did is we completed the United Nations framework for resource classification with secondary resources, resources from mining, urban mining. So the United Nations framework classification exists, you know it all probably. It works with competent persons that give their idea, they assess the feasibility of mining operations in geological mining. We have introduced this framework for urban mining. And the idea is that we need a level playing field, both for secondary and primary raw materials. We need materials. It doesn't matter whether they're primary or secondary. That's the idea behind it. I see 0, there's time left. Happily, this is my last slide. So a few limitations, controversies, and pitfalls I want to share. First one, circularity is not the objective. Sustainability is. Material scarcity is the driver. If there's no scarcity, I have no driver for circular economy. I don't, I really don't. Plastics is a good example. What we need there is waste management, better waste management. Nothing to do with circular economy. Natural resources don't disappear. They stay here. They are dissipated. And that's the problem. That there are the limits of recycling. Some moment where the dissipation is so big that it cannot be recovered in an economic or environmentally in a way that makes sense. The only metric that matters actually for measuring progress towards circular economy is the absolute primary resource consumption per unit of time. The absolute one, not the relative one, not compared to. That's not interesting. We will not avoid environmental impacts if we don't lower the absolute quantities of extraction from nature. I don't say what's good and what's bad. I just make this observation. Secondary raw materials are only relevant when they really substitute for primary resources. And if they don't, we just make the volume of material throughput through our economy bigger. And that's a rebound effect. Because we still need all these primary resources to be produced. I think that was it. Sorry for going over time.
It's okay.